Hey mate, Annie here. Are you familiar with the word domain? Not domain as in D-O-M-A-I-N, but as in the naming of this video, D-E-M-E-S-N-E. It was a new word to me that I stumbled across somewhere along the way. I admit I'm a collector of words. The stranger, the better. They aren't usually words that, well, I could use in general conversation. Although I did recently have the chance to use colorophobia in a conversation. If you have that particular affliction, you might know what it means. Most of us don't. It's fear of clowns. Yeah, I'm afflicted with colorophobia. Except, well, when it comes to Puddles the clown. There's a bit of trivia about me in case you didn't know. I'm a huge fan of Puddles' Pity Party. Other than that, though, clowns be gone, please. Which obviously has nothing to do with the word domain, except it brings us back to the fact that I'm fascinated with words. They're often my reflections of the day, as you've probably noticed. Sometimes I have a word in mind when I write a poem, but often the title comes to me later when an aligned word shows up. That's the case for this reflection. My reflection was on the solid ground of being that is part of winter, the surety of all things, the surety that lies within us, the power of connecting to the most raw, most elemental, most primal aspect of who we are. What will come in the season of Imbolc? Well, it seems a softening of that kind of surety. Not in a lessening, no, but in the sense of softening enough to break open and begin reaching outwards. Softening in the sense that we then begin to change in light of what we come into contact with out there. This season, and this time of the season especially, isn't about opening up and becoming. It's about the deepest and most pure essence of who we are, untainted by outside influence. My poem is Ocean to shore, crashing and landing. See, I am the strong one. Shore to ocean between waves. Really, you come and go, and I'm still here. Everything has a relative power. Each season rules in its turn. Nature teaches authority and abdication. Everything has its time of ascendancy. I will make a difference within my sphere of influence. Today I will most seriously strut my stuff. I declare my genius and my determination. This is not the season to make light of what we have preserved through the transformative times of Mabon, Samhain, and Yule. That journey inwards connected us to what we are and what of that we choose to grow from. It's about change, of course. There's the upcoming seasons. We are going to see a lot of that. But even as the smallest movement outward and into change is beginning, we do best to dwell in the place where we are strong and complete before whatever transformation is about to become. That word, domain. It has a medieval history about it, probably why we don't hear about it much, and it's not a word for common conversation. It's the land attached to a manor for the owner's private use, the lands of an estate. What the lord of the manor, the root of the word is belonging to a lord, has absolute power over. Yes, probably connected to the word domain. It's one what has control over that is absolute and cannot be taken away. Modern use of the word is probably only remaining in the law, and it means property that one owns that is 100% theirs in law and to which no other person can challenge the ownership. And that's how it showed up as a title to the poem. I stumbled across it near the time I wrote the poem. The essence of today's reflection is our declaring I am. And no, making that declaring I am indisputable. A declaration of an absolute, This is a time for remembering or perhaps discovering our personal, inviolate, individual power. And there's another word we don't hear much, but one I do a lot when teaching magic, inviolate. It means that there's such a degree of surety that nothing can threaten it. Without a relationship to personal power that is absolute, magic is generally a fizzle rather than a firework, but that's a video for another day. When we stand with the deepest, most primal essence of who we are, our spiritual domain, we stand in the place that is untouchable, undamageable, and undeterred. And we begin to understand a further definition of something that is inviolate. It is sacred and worthy of protection. The challenge in today's reflection is to stand strong and sure. What is more the season of earth than that? To know what we rise from and what we are in the very core of our being. To know that we have power over that, and that it is indeed a part of our divine essence, and it cannot be lessened by anything outside of ourselves. The challenges aren't always easy, my friends. It's a challenge to know what of us is absolute, and it's a challenge to defend that in the face of what life brings us that will challenge our surety. And perhaps the greatest challenge? Something that can shake us and make us feel as if surety has collapsed in upon itself. Well, that would be our own self-doubts, more often than not. What can you name about yourself with absolute surety? What is your domain? And if you look at that from a spiritual perspective, if you declare that sacred, well, what will you do to see that that is preserved? Sometimes, no matter the cost. I wish you all mirth and reverence in the season of Yule. Merry part.